My name is Dr. Kevin Pecca. I wanted to make a podcast that exposes people to the true miracles of life and health. All the guests on this show have been specially picked because they bring something positive to the world. They have some of the most amazing and inspiring life stories. These people have a passion for living, healing, and leaving the world better than they found it. There is something inside these people that made them keep fighting through all the tough times, even when people told them it was not possible. They carried on and made their lives beautiful again. And now they are sharing their experiences with the world. This is the Expect Miracles podcast. Enjoy the show. Alex Muka has been one of my best friends since the 4th grade. He is a man of many talents. He's wicked smahhtt and absolute comedy. Please welcome Muka. Today on the podcast, we have Alex Muka, who has been one of my best friends since the 4th grade. Very unfortunate. But he's actually a huge part of this podcast. He actually made the intro beat, and I'm pretty sure you did that in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
because
I forgot about it. And Pekka sent me some hilarious guitar riffs that he played.
God.
They were actually pretty good. And I just took him and made the
Well,
beat. Yeah.
I was like, Muka, the podcast is coming out next week. Like, I need an intro. Can you please finally do the intro?
Yeah.
And after that text, the intro was sent to me in 10 minutes.
Somehow it just came.
That
was it.
So how did you get into music producing?
When I was in college, I would just watch these videos of Kanye making beats.
Really?
It's like I just loved watching the videos. And I really didn't think that I was ever going to be able to do that. He had like this huge like beat machines and stuff in his studio. And I was like, this is insane. So I just started messing around Fruity Loops. And
what's that, the app?
Yeah, it's like a beat producing app pretty much. And they sucked. My beats, they were so
understandably
bad. They were so bad for like a year and a half, but for some reason I just kept doing it. And then
do you need to know how to like do some piano chords and all that?
I know like 5 chords. I like to sample a lot, so I sample a song, and then any other music that's added onto it after is just kind of by trying to play that's something that sounds good with it. Really.
So you self-taught yourself how to mix everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
just watching videos online.
Dude.
You can teach yourself how to do anything nowadays. There's a video for it. If you really want to put the time in. I mean, like I said, a year and a half into listenable music.
That's when it became listenable.
Yeah, like listenable.
I mean, I guess that goes with anything.
Yeah.
And then, I always knew I wanted to make the podcast, but then when you came out with that van intro, I lost it. I was like, this is 1,000%.
The best part about that beat was, so I don't know if anybody that hasn't lived in California would understand what we were talking about when we say that you get into a fog, right? Like if you go out there for a week's vacation, you're like, this is the best place ever made.
Yeah.
I never want to leave.
Yeah.
And then you're there for 3 months and you're like, where am I?
It's every day is a daydream.
Every day's the same day.
And you get sucked into it.
You don't even know. I got there and then 3 months later I woke up and I was like, what is going on? So thank God that Pekka could adjust people because he did this upper cervical adjustment on me and he was pretty much practicing on me. And then eventually he was just killing it. So that day when I was like, Pekka, dude, I'm messed up. Like my brain is in a fog. Like, I don't know what's going on.
You were losing it.
He adjusted me. And then like a half hour later, I came up with this beat and we thought we were going to have it as the intro for the podcast.
Copyright infringement.
But copyright infringement kind of stopped that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you were the first person I ever adjusted, and it was comical the first time I adjusted you. I barely tapped you on the neck. I was like, yep, I got it, right? You're like, yeah, dude, you got it.
You got it.
Yeah, so you're the first person.
You were like breathing heavy.
Oh, dude, I was probably sweating.
I think you were sweating.
Sweating, dude. I was so nervous.
And now you just adjusted me before this, and I'm clear.
Clear as
amazing.
Clear as a whistle? No.
Clear as a whistle. No,
yeah. It doesn't make sense, but it's okay. So you're actually the only person I know that is a writer.
Well, I can't call myself a writer just because I've never gotten paid for it yet, but I like to write.
You're a writer. Just your library by itself is impressive / comical. Like, do you think you'll be able to read all those books by the time you're dead?
Never. Never. My girlfriend right now literally tries to stop me from buying books on Amazon. Dude, like she tries to lock my account. But
you going into Barnes and Nobles is scary.
Dude, every time I walk out of there, it's like $200 gone.
You come out with like 10 books.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to read them all, and it's just probably never going to happen.
But ever since you were young, you were always reading and like a ton more than everybody else. What do you think drew you to that, and who like inspired you as a writer?
Well, first of all, I was a pretty nerdy kid, I would say. I mean, like everybody would be hanging out at night and I'd be like going home early and waking up in the morning and reading before I got on the bus, doing my homework before I got on the bus because I could never concentrate at night. Like night
really
isn't good for me. I just like...
What time does your brain shut off?
Probably like right after lunch. It's toast after that. Like for real, like for anything writing, it's 100% off after lunch. So yeah, I just started reading like Harry Potter. And that was really kind of like where I read before Harry Potter, but after reading Harry Potter, I was like, I just started reading a ton after that. I guess when you're younger, when you read a book, you realize you don't know shit.
Oh, no.
You don't know shit. And I've read books, the same book when I was like, the fact that they make you read The Great Gatsby when you're like 16.
What are you grasping?
What the fuck are you grasping in The Great Gatsby? You're grasping absolutely nothing. Old Man in the Sea, Hemingway, you were grasping nothing. Dude. I'll probably read it again when I'm 40 and be like, I was grasping nothing at 25.
That was one of the first books where that was like actually a game changer. 100 pages. The message is so straight to the point and clear.
It's unbelievable.
It's one of the best books of all time.
It's maybe the best book of all time.
Dude, I think it's like, I read that for the first time in college and like I had to do it, report or something. And it was the first thing I actually enjoyed. I used to just read, I'm obsessed with like autobiographies. Like people's life stories, I'm absolutely obsessed.
Yeah.
Like, well, you like everything, but you tend to be more into like fiction, right?
Yeah, like literary fiction, I would say. Like, my three favorite writers are probably Jim Harrison, who wrote like Legends of the Fall.
Ooh.
And
he telling me to read that.
Yeah, he writes a lot of books are like novellas, so they're short,
right?
But they're unbelievable. Hemingway, and then Zadie Smith. She's a writer right now, still alive, and she's just unbelievable.
Well, dude, like you can literally have a conversation with anybody, and like your ability to grasp knowledge and understand it and use it in your own life, I've never seen that in anybody before. Like I remember a couple months ago, this is just like kind of like a redundant example, but some like wine popped up and you were like, yeah, remember that's the wine that my cousin Tom was telling us all about. And you remembered every detail about it. Dude. And it was a year and a half ago. And I was just like yesing you just not to sound stupid. I was like, oh yeah, no, I remember that.
Well, when people like say something that interests me, I'm automatically interested in them and what they have to say.
Absolutely.
And I'm not even kidding. What's really helped me pay attention and grasp knowledge and focus is just putting my fucking phone down.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when we used to go out with Tom in California and he'd be talking about all these wines, I would just stop, put my phone away and just listen. Just actually listen to him. And it's really that easy to focus and listen to people. And I'll never be able to reiterate what someone told me while I'm texting.
No, absolutely not.
It'll never happen.
Dude. I went for a walk the other day, a couple weeks ago. It was a Friday night, and down Bloomfield Ave in Montclair, happening spot.
Gorgeous.
There, every single person that I walked past or every restaurant I walked into, people were staring at their phone. Nobody's paying attention, including myself.
No, I'm guilty of it for sure.
Nobody is paying attention
to
anything. It's scary.
It's just unbelievable. And then people expect their lives to somehow not even change, just like you expect to relate to someone in person or remember something. Right. People are like, oh, my memory's shot. No, it's not. You're just not paying attention.
Right.
Really, that's it. I think Hemingway has like an unbelievable, some quote that he said, which is pretty much just like when you get in a room, just if something makes you feel a certain way, try and pinpoint what it is about the room.
Really?
That made you feel whatever you're feeling.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's probably the greatest writer.
Well, yeah, and another problem is everybody has to document everything before they have any experience of it. So like you pull up to like a really scenic spot, immediately the phone comes out. It has to happen through the phone before you can even, and by the time you put the phone down, you're spending 20 minutes figuring out which snap to send, and then it's over.
And think about this. This is what always makes me laugh. Think about this. When's the last time you went through your camera roll and like looked at old pictures?
Dude, never.
Never. I never look at you. When's the last time you watched the concert video that you took on your phone?
No, never.
Never.
No. It's all for everybody else.
It never happened.
It's all for everybody else. And everybody's guilty of it. It's a worldwide problem, especially I feel like in America, because when I went to Ireland a couple weeks ago, nobody was on their phone.
They get it.
Everybody's at the bar.
Yeah.
They're at the bar. They're not looking at, I don't know.
Or they just have shitty service.
Very true. Dude, yeah. So
going back to California, we talk a lot of shit about it.
We do, but it's because we love it.
It was the best thing we've ever done.
I mean, by far, just going somewhere where it's not your everyday norm, like just putting you a little bit out of that comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Just like the people. So I remember the first thing that really blew my mind about California is I'm walking to the beach with Pex. We're going surfing, and some lady waves at us, like dead seriously, just waves at us and asks us how we're doing. And I was just like, what?
Well, you're right off the plane from New Jersey, and that never happens.
Like the only time people stop to talk to you in New Jersey, New York, is to like make fun of you or something. Like that's it. You're not getting like a good, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
And thinking it's like, there's no motive behind it.
Right.
So that was the first thing that I was just like, this place is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're just nice people. And
they are nice people. There are nice people. But after like a couple years, I missed the directness of everybody on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Like, you know exactly how you stand with everybody on the East Coast.
Right.
Not to say it's tough. It's tough for Californians because how could they? Like, if you grew up in Southern California, this is not an exaggeration. Mostly every day of your life has been 75 and sunny.
I'll quote the great Tom Coyne.
Yes.
We're trying to explain this, what we call sunburnt phenomena, right?
Sunbrain.
Yeah, their brain is just, they haven't seen rain in for a year, right? They're just sunburnt. Their brain is sunburned. We're trying to explain this to our friend Tom Coyne, and he goes, oh, I get it. They've never been freezing.
Never been cold, bro.
They've never been cold. I mean, it really just changes the way that just being cold makes you more of a direct person, I think.
Right. But we've met a ton of phenomenal people out there.
Oh,
we love them to death.
People.
It was a different experience that it's definitely easier going from East to West Coast than West to East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
That must be an awakening for them as well.
Fucked.
Oh, yeah.
They come over here. Well, it was just funny because we would go out. We would like try in the way that we would talk to girls in New Jersey just does not translate to a girl from the West Coast. Like
sarcasm goes right over the head.
Yeah, like I'm blatantly making fun of you, and they couldn't pick up on it, or they thought we were being dead serious when we were making fun of them.
Yeah, and that's like 90% of the game, and just
I realized that the East Coast way to talk to girls is just pretty childish and hilarious. Just making fun of them. Sometimes it works.
Aside from all of that was dreamland for a year. Like for a solid 8 to 10 months, me and you would wake up 5 a.m., go surfing, come back at 6:30. You would work out of the house, which is comical, do your sales. I would go to school, come back, go surfing again.
Go surf again.
And then stop off at the Irishman.
That's it. The Irishman. What a pub.
That's a good spot.
We would go in there and write. That was the best.
That was...
it was just every day was perfect. And then
every day was perfect.
It kind of freaks you out.
Yeah. Well, after a while, like again, we talked a lot of shit, but we knew it was the best.
Oh, it was the best. I mean, I would go back and do it in a heartbeat.
I didn't know how to like relax until I moved out there. You know what I'm saying? Like you would literally just sit down for hours and it was good. And you would just chill.
Well, I remember the first couple of months I felt guilty not going out because it was perfect. Yeah. I felt guilty like not going out and enjoying the weather because in Jersey, when May hits, it's like,
it's a free flight.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. It's nice.
For 4 months. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah. But out there, you get used to the perfect weather and just enjoying that. Like just enjoying being outside doing nothing.
And the camping out there. I didn't camp in New Jersey. What the hell was that? No idea what that was.
No.
Big Bear and Sequoia.
Big Bear. Sequoia is the most beautiful place I think I've ever seen.
Sequoia? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dude.
Sequoia.
Yeah. And you don't realize, like you go up into the mountains, the air is definitely way cleaner. Then you come back.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like,
that smog of Southern California.
Dude, that place is on fire right now.
It's the least shocking. I know it's terrible and sad, but it's the least shocking thing. I mean, there's no real water there.
There's no water supply.
They're borrowing water from...
Pipe down.
It doesn't rain. What do you expect?
Well, I mean, like, realistically, like, what are they going to do in 15, 20 years?
Everyone's going to need to move to places that are habitable.
It's going to be dust, probably.
It's so fucked up, but like, think about it. Just think about before there's houses and air conditioning and taking water from miles and miles away.
Not to mention it's the most populated place ever.
It's unbelievable.
Like the most spread out populated place ever, and they don't have water.
They don't have water. Just think about it. Before a house, before all this stuff, before the luxuries that we have today, how would you dead seriously live in Los Angeles? You wouldn't because you couldn't.
Dude, I mean, I guess the Native Americans had it down
Yeah,
somehow.
well,
They know their shit.
They had their shit down.
They had it
their ways
together.
with the land.
Yeah, exactly. We're not doing that. No, we're not. But I mean, even Vegas. Vegas is, well, if you spend more than 3 days in Vegas,
dude, we just went for, me and our buddy Smithy.
Oh my God.
We went for the McGregor Mayweather fight, and holy.
How long were you guys there for?
Well, I think it was 3 days exactly, and by the third day, I mean, I just wanted to run into oncoming traffic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but it was fun, really fun.
The first day you get there, it's a sprint, and you get
sprint.
so pumped, and you don't go to bed, and then second day you're pushing through, and by the third day, if you go out again,
you just
best of luck to you.
See you never.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, West Coast is great.
West Coast is unreal. I definitely want to go back for 3 months spans.
Yeah, actually, my girlfriend, she just bought us a trip to Utah. Gonna go camping out in Utah.
That's gonna be. Yeah. So explain that. That's not just camping.
No, it's not. It's like glamping, they call it. So they have like this huge tent, your own bed and shit.
Okay, but it's a teepee.
It's a teepee though. Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah,
and they have a fire in the.
You have like your own fireplace in the teepee,
dude.
And then just walk around Zion. You've been to Zion.
Zion's
right?
fake.
We're doing that.
We went to Zion. Like we pulled off last minute. It was like it was like probably like 7:45 at night, and there was like a half-hour trail you can do, and you get to see the arches.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
what are the arches again?
It's just these huge like rocks that they're hundreds of feet up in the air,
and they're not man-made. They're natural. It's like the canyon, but it's like sick. And there's this little bend that you go around that was literally probably 2 feet wide with already engraved footprints. But dude, if you go and you're doing it at 7:00 at night,
1 foot the other way, you're off. See you never. You're gone. But but that kind of made it like the best hike ever.
Yeah.
So like you go around, and then right as you turn the corner, you're probably like 200 or 300 feet up, probably way more. I don't even know. Yeah. I was blacked out from the scenery, like completely blacked out.
That's actually hilarious. So we drove home from California when I was moving back home. And we were driving from, where was it? Well, first we drove to the Grand Canyon, and
my God.
And our dumb asses did not realize that. You think Arizona, you're thinking hot always.
All year round.
Yeah. No, this is right before Christmas. We're trying to get home before Christmas Eve.
I'm pretty sure I looked at the weather and I was like, no, that can't be right. No. I Googled the wrong spot. It was like 10 degrees, but we were so set on camping.
We were set on camping in the Grand Canyon in the middle of December.
Snow on the ground.
Yeah, we got there. It was 3 degrees. We didn't have a hotel. And
dude, there was no talk about a hotel. No. We were camping at the Grand Canyon.
So we go camping at the Grand Canyon. We get there. It's actually 3 degrees out.
Yep.
There's snow on the campsite naturally, and we start a fire and we camped there, and we woke up.
Well, we were still pumped.
Oh, I was fired up until I woke up in the middle of the night.
We were passing hotels.
Yeah,
and it still wasn't registering.
No, nothing was registering. And we woke up like in each other's arms, trying to like keep each other warm,
dude,
before dying.
You were literally breathing on my forehead when I woke up in the morning. And I don't think I had like the right sleeping bag where it was like for like really cold. You had like a shitty $30 Walmart sleeping bag that you were shivering for 6 hours.
I was frozen.
I slept a little bit. You got up at like 7 a.m. and started the car. And waited in there for 2 hours.
I'm not kidding. My abs were sore from shivering all night.
And we were so blacked out, sleep deprived that we left the canyon to get coffee. And then we had to repay the fee
to get back in.
We're like, oh, where's the Grand Canyon? We're like, you guys were literally just there.
We're just
there. You have to go back in.
Yeah. That was the start of the trip. When you first walk up to the Grand Canyon, your brain can't even...
No. I almost fell down.
Yeah, I almost fell. Like, your brain can't handle the size.
No.
It's like, I've never seen anything this big. Where am I? What is this? Literally, I feel like I'm in a painting.
Sweep you off your feet?
Yes, you almost fall over. And that's how the rest of the West Coast was. I mean, everything is just too big to handle.
Yeah.
It's too big.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. Unbelievable.
And then when you get to, we went to Colorado after that, and I guess we're not research people. Like, we just kind of do it. We didn't ask, but nobody really tells you about the altitude.
And the beer drinking.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Those two don't go hand in hand. I mean, all I have to say to somebody going to Denver is don't chug 3 beers and then start talking about God to your best friend, because the conversation's going to get weird quick.
No, like 2 beers in, I remember we were just fucking cursing at each other.
We were fighting. We were fighting each other.
Blacked out, just like, and then like we went outside. We're like, "Yo, can you stop?"
We got drunk off of really drunk off of 2 beers.
I remember like turning to the bartender and be like, "Yo, what's going on?"
You're like, "What'd you put in my drink?"
They're like, "You've never been here before. This happens when you drink in Denver.
Yeah,
the altitude is real.
It's real. We were mangled,
and that was the worst hangover. I almost felt like I was dying. I had to lay on that couch in the lobby. Oh, dude, I was curled up in the fetal position, couldn't move.
We had like 5 beers. That was messed up. But it was awesome. Denver, another great place.
Denver was
I'm actually going back for work soon.
There you go.
So pumped.
There you go. And then the middle of the country is comical.
It's just flat.
It's flat, and there's Jesus signs and
no abortion signs. Like instead of
just like as billboards.
Yeah, like instead of like if you're driving up the Jersey Turnpike or the Parkway, I mean, it's just constant green signs for exits.
Yeah.
In the middle of the country, it's constant signs to not abort your child.
Yeah, seriously.
That's it.
I was like, oh, there's one. That's weird. And then it was like every 50 miles, it was like forcing religious beliefs on you.
Yep. Shoot or shoot. I like the middle of the country. Though,
no, I do like that.
People are just so real there, too. Like
that's where everybody in California that I hung out with mostly was either from the Midwest and East Coast. Midwest people, they can kick it. They're good people.
They're good people. They're
really good people.
Yeah, everyone. I just realized that they're
all good
except
people.
From New Jersey.
Oh yeah,
but I love the pricks from New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, everybody from New Jersey, they're good people. It's just
they hide it.
If they're not like fucking with you a little bit, they probably don't like you.
Right. Yeah. So, no, that's 100% true. If you're not getting fucked with in New Jersey, you're not even there.
I mean, whenever we meet somebody from like out of state, we're pumped.
Yeah.
We're pumped to have them there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many questions.
Too many questions into the making fun of.
But and then Nash Vegas, that's one of the best stops in the country.
That was the most hungover I've ever been.
Nashville?
Yeah. Well, the drive to Nashville and then imagine drinking in Nashville and then waking up and driving to Jersey. 13 hours.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But
just remember, this guy never drove one stick of that trip home.
Would not let me drive.
I wouldn't let him.
But Nashville's live music, capital of the country. Good people there, too.
For sure.
Love the country music.
Dude, I was listening to that Joe Rogan podcast with Chris Staples.
Stapleton?
I listened to his music. Dude. That guy is a soulful genius. I was baffled. I was like, oh, another country singer. No.
That was the first time I saw Rogan, like, starstruck. Mm-hmm. Like, he was like,
he kept saying,
I'm sorry.
He's like, I'm sorry, but I'm here for it. Yeah. That guy's amazing. I had no idea. Dude, I was listening to him today.
He's the man. Yeah. Well, I've come to conclude that I like all types of music as long as it's got soul in it.
That's it. That's
anything.
All it's about.
Any genre. Dude, Van Morrison.
Anything, dude. Books, music.
If you can feel it.
Some soul in there, then you're good.
Dude, Van Morrison is probably my favorite human on the planet.
Without a doubt.
I don't even know.
He sang other songs besides Brown Eyed Girl, guys. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, definitely. Dive deep into Van.
My favorite album, number one favorite album, by far, above all else, is Astral Weeks.
Oh, yeah.
By Van Morrison. If you like music, you listen to that project, that album. It's the best.
What's your favorite one on that one? Caravan?
No, that's with Sweet Thing.
Tupelo Honey?
No, that's actually, what is that of it? That's on.
Well, Astral Weeks is unreal.
Astral Weeks, there's like not even any hits on it. You just listen to it from beginning to end, and it's perfect.
You don't press next.
No.
Yeah, dude. Van's
the guy. Well, we got to see him at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, that was an experience.
Yeah, we were a little drunk for that, but it was awesome. People were yelling at us.
We were just hyped to be there.
Yeah, people were yelling at us because we were singing too much.
Well, the woman behind us is like, can you sit down? And we're like, we're at a concert.
Absolutely not, lady.
No shot.
No.
Van's, love that guy.
Van's the guy.
But dude, kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit on, I've heard you go into sales mode. After surfing, I would just chill and I would listen to you like in your room just pitching it and people were feeling. What's your thing with sales? Like,
all right,
what do you think that the go-to move there is?
Right. So my sales, the way I have to sell, so my dad owns a software company. Mm-hmm. And he makes a specific software for a specific industry.
Well, your dad is also an absolute legend. I got to get him on here.
I wish. I mean, for anybody that's decided to actually click play when they saw my name on this podcast, if you actually like look up to somebody when you're young, like obviously looked up to my dad, still look up to him. But I wish I actually listened and acted acted on it. Because I listened and I heard everything he said and didn't act once.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, I'm like, shit, he was right about it all.
But until you get it, how could you know? You can take advice and act on what someone's telling you, but where's the fun if you don't experience it yourself?
Yeah, I've experienced some hilarious things that my dad probably tried to steer me away from. Now I know it was right on like 99% of
But
what
he wasn't like, he let you do your thing. He was just like,
oh, yeah, but he would just tell me I was an idiot. Like, he would just be flat out like, you're a moron.
Yeah,
and it really helped because if you don't have anybody telling you you're a moron, you'll actually think you're the smartest person in the world.
Absolutely.
I'm an idiot.
Not even close to it. But, well, Jane, so your family, your uncle, let's start with your uncle. He kind of did something with the internet, right?
Yeah, so not a lot of people know this, but my uncle, he was one of the founding partners at a company called US Robotics. So I think it was back in like the late 70s, early 80s. And they built one of the first modems to connect you to the internet.
Wow.
And he was like one of the head designers.
What year was this?
I think it was the 80s. I'm not exactly sure. Early 80s.
This was like not even a blimp on the radar for anybody.
No, I mean like
computers yet. Really.
No, I mean I believe he worked with Steve Jobs back in the day.
No way.
Yeah, to get the modems into Macs because that time the personal computer was blowing up. So yeah, he started or was a founding partner of this company, and they actually sold like 10 years ago for up in the billions.
So he helped connect people to the internet.
Yeah.
He helped people log on to the internet.
Yeah, I mean, he built remember that little beep, 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 beep? Like that was what they did, like one of their first ones.
That's unreal.
Yeah, it's baffling.
So
he died before his time, before he could collect on those bees.
So
yeah.
How long after did he pass away after that was?
Well, his whole goal was he wanted to be a millionaire by the time he was 30. I think he was 28 or 29 when he was a millionaire.
Really?
Yeah. He was big time, but he died at like 32 or 33.
How did he even get into that? Because your dad and his family, they grew up like owning a deli, right?
A bakery.
Yeah.
They owned a bakery. My grandpa owned a bakery. But my uncle Steven Muka, he was like the black sheep. Not even the black sheep. He was just so smart that he was awkward, like very, very awkward. He was my dad's oldest brother. My dad's the youngest of 5 brothers. He was the oldest brother. And he was just insanely awkward because he was so smart. Like he graduated high school in 3 years, went to a college. I think it's called Einstein College.
Really?
It was in the middle of the desert in Vegas or Nevada. And they actually think that that's why he got cancer because they were doing a lot of nuclear testing at the time in Nevada.
Wow.
So a lot of kids actually that went to that smart school got cancer. But yeah, so the funny thing is that my grandparents saw that in him. They saw that he was so smart, but he was awkward. And it made his life outside of being smart really difficult.
Yeah.
So like it was hard for him to socialize with people.
Almost like a savant.
Yeah. So they tried to make the rest of the brothers they tried to suppress being smart because they didn't want like my dad to live an awkward life like his oldest brother. So so until my dad was in high school, he was in remedial class. And you know my dad, he's a smart guy.
He's a self-made genius.
Yeah, I mean so they tried to make him not smart up until high school, and he said he was in this remedial class where it's more teachers than students kind of thing.
No way.
And he said the moment where it hit that he had to be smart was this kid walked into the corner of the class and faced the corner of the wall. And my dad was like, what the hell is going on? And the kid turned around with his finger in between his button, pretending like he had his dick out. And he just walked around the class like that. And my dad was like, I got to get the hell out of here.
Oh, my God.
And ever since then, he decided to be smart, I guess.
Jeez. Well, good for him because he did it.
Yeah. So my dad makes software and I'm the one to sell it.
Well, you got that computer software engineering.
Yeah. So I went
from Monmouth.
Went to school for software engineering. Really, the only thing that I could say is different between the way that I have to sell and car salesman is that it's a more educated sale. So I can't walk up to a rando on the street and sell somebody this software.
They got to want it.
Right. It's very specific. They have to want it. And I just have to prove to them that it's going to give them what they want. So it's actually kind of easy for me. My dad made a great program. So my tactic for sales is don't blow it. I mean, that's it. And I'm lucky enough that I don't blow it.
And then you got to go to the parts of the country that buy it and then teach these people how to
teach them how to use it.
Which must be very frustrating because I wouldn't know how to I wouldn't know how to use it.
It's very frustrating just because, I mean, think about it. These people, they make concrete and they make structures out of concrete. So these guys are tough guys that are blue collar. And now they have to use a computer.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
they kind of want you guys to be like, that's what we bought the system for.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the patience is tested on a daily basis, but
definitely
got to do it.
Definitely. I don't know if you want to leak the info out here yet, but I think the couple ideas you have for books right now are game changers.
Yes, I finished the first book I ever started. And I remember Pekka was asking me, or he was saying that one of his friends, one of your other friends, wanted to start, right? The first thing that I'll have to say is that it took me over 5 or 6 months to get the first page. Like just to get something that, first of all, I had never read before, and then something that I liked. I would say the two things that I would say to anybody that wants to write is that there's only two aspects, at least for me, because there's writers, Jim Harrison, right? He wrote Legends of the Fall in 9 days.
Wow.
Not me.
No.
I could never do that. I'm not a genius like that. So,
well, and every writer's got their different process.
Right. And it's actually cool to read about them. So I actually like what Hemingway did. He got up in the morning, every morning, and I actually read somewhere else that this tactic is really good for writing because when you wake up in the morning, there's this part of your brain that worries and that thinks too much and that tries to solve all the world's problems is asleep still when you first wake up. So
asleep what?
It's like still asleep when you wake up. So like the first hour that you're awake, I think it's the frontal cortex or something like that worries is still dormant. So at that point, you can really write.
So you almost can block that part of your
right. So you don't think about like, what am I writing something bad? Is this bad? What am I writing? You don't think like that. You just write. And then at night, I'll go back and read it again and figure out what was good and what was bad. So what I would tell anybody is like, it's these two words, time. So just putting in the time writing. That's the hardest part.
Even right when you don't feel like it's like anything, you got to work to get good at it.
And you got to put in a lot of time.
And you don't have anything to write, most people will just be like, I'm not writing.
Right, I'm not inspired.
That's when you have to write.
You just have to just try and write. So it's putting in the time and then having taste, I guess, like good taste. Like once you write and you go back and read it, it's up to you to have the good taste to keep the shit that's good and don't have any ego to keep shit that's bad just because you wrote it.
Yeah.
Just because you wrote it doesn't mean it's good. You actually have to be like, take a step back and pretend like you're reading the book and see if it's still good, which is also really hard because you tend to fall in love with the shit that you write just because you wrote it.
Yeah.
Same thing goes for beats too. Like when I'm making beats, I'll love something and then I'll send it to Brandon Dinkin and he'll be like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean it's okay? I just made it and it's awesome. But it's not always the case.
Right. But I think a lot of people get too caught up in if it's good or not. Like, just make it.
Right.
Like, don't think, like, I don't think this is going to work. If you just make it, put it out. A lot of people want to edit everything, go back and edit. Like, even for podcasts, like, first couple, I was, like, editing a lot. And then I just put it out.
Yeah.
And
let it flow.
Let it flow. If you can change one person's mind about something, I feel like you've done your job.
Yeah.
Just one person.
Right. I changed my own mind on things. Like, I realize how I think through writing. So when I write something and it'll just come to me and I didn't even know I was thinking it. It just came out. I ended up liking it. I mean, really, that's it.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people are trying to reach the masses like right away. And like,
you got to like it yourself.
Absolutely.
If you have good taste and you like it, then other people will like it.
Absolutely.
So that's why reading is key. So like you understand what it is that makes a good book.
Absolutely.
And then if you can read your own book and read it and like it, then that's the ideal.
I mean, some of my like favorite podcast episodes I think they're absolute dingers and then don't get any feedback from it. And then like, I'll think the one's okay. And then be like, one person was like, dude, that one was really good. And I was like, oh, wow, thank you. I didn't even notice people would enjoy that.
Yeah, dude. I love a couple of your podcasts. The one, obviously, with Alessi was unbelievable, man. That kid is one of a kind.
Yeah.
But then there's the one with the guy that was saying he works with like hockey players. And he was kind of saying like, just understand that emotions just come up and down and you just got to like, just go with it. Like, don't try to analyze every single thing. Like, it's just there. That's the life.
What the hell's his last name? Garrett Kramer. Garrett Kramer, he just had a regular job and just had like an awakening one day and he just ran with it. And like, he had no idea what he was doing, but he kept making blogs and putting it out there. And then
putting it out there.
Zach Parisi's father, who was a really good hockey player, read it one day, hit him up. And that's how he got into the NHL.
It's insane. See, you just got to put it out there.
Just put it out there.
I'm not going to give too much away, but it's pretty much.
Which one are we talking about here?
The first one that I finished. So it's a funny way to look at social media and how we interact with it through just a hilarious drunk character who thinks a girl doesn't exist because he can't find her on social media.
Right.
So he starts kind of bugging out.
And that's what everybody does these days. You meet somebody and you're like, oh, let's see what her
pictures are like, right? So if you don't find this girl, you kind of start.
It's infuriating.
Right. It starts to freak you out. That's the one that I finished. And I started thinking about if people want to write. What I find is that you got to go with what you find funny first, because underneath something funny is always some level of complete and utter sadness.
Yeah.
Right? Like anything that you say that's
or
funny.
Truth.
Yeah, truth and normally sad truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I always start with what's absolutely hilarious, which is us going online and not finding a girl and being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then underneath it, it's some like sad shit that, I don't know. That's what I think.
I think you really got something with because this is funny and true too. The marriage lease.
Right.
That is a game changer.
Yeah, I'm working on that one right now. The basis is really like, imagine that instead of you getting married for your whole life, you sign a lease. So it's like every 3 years, you have to kind of re-up the marriage lease, or
both of you have to want it.
Both of you have to do it. So the concept is you're married for 3 years. You have to take a 3-month break from your partner. It's like legal, right?
That's great.
And then you both have to sign back on without talking to each other.
What do you mean?
Like after that 3 months, you can't call and be like, hey, are you going to sign? Are you going to sign?
Wow.
No, you just have to both re-sign. And then if one of the other people doesn't sign, well, then you're not fucking married anymore.
Yeah. A lot of people have some interesting takes on marriage. My one cousin who I had on the podcast, Chris Moynihan, he's had the same. I mean, it's his wife.
Right.
He's not married, but he's just like, why do I need to get married? This is like, we love each other. Why do we need the government to step in and sign papers and everything? Yeah. And it's interesting.
Look, dude, now that I've been writing it, I started writing it thinking this would be awesome.
Yeah.
This would be awesome. And I'm writing it and I'm like, this would fucking suck. It would suck.
Yeah.
Marriage is fine the way it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, that's how I'm seeing it right now. And tomorrow I could be like, actually, this is a good idea.
Well, you see a lot of people, like, especially our age, starting to get married. Yeah. And some of those people are actually, and this is completely my opinion, some of those people are actually like head over heels in love. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then my personal opinion, I feel like you have some people looking around like, this is what I should do next, just because
this is what
everyone's doing.
Absolutely. And those people are fucked.
Absolutely. In the long run?
Oh.
Absolutely.
And dude, this is something that I came through writing. It's actually hilarious. People will go an entire lifetime of hating their situation to avoid a 10-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Just to avoid that breakup conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
They will stay with a person,
dude,
for way too long.
Absolutely. The anxiety of thinking about breaking up with somebody and staying in it is probably the worst feeling in the world.
It's terrible.
It takes over your entire life. It's what you're thinking about when you're not with the person, when you're with the person.
And people will go their whole lives just avoiding it.
And they stay in it. And then, like, I feel like when divorce didn't exist, like 40s, 50s, people were just pushing through because that's what they had to do.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
But that being said, I've never been married and have no idea.
Yeah, this book's tough to write just because I've never been married. You know, I've been in relationships. Marriage is a whole different ballgame. So I might have to shelve it until I'm married to see what...
That, you might have a different perspective on it.
Exactly. What I was going back to when you read something, like when you read something as an 18-year-old, a 25-year-old, and when I read something as a 40-year-old, it's all going to be different.
Oh, absolutely. I remember stupid. At the time, it sounded like a good idea. I was going to get that huge quote on my back tattoo for my dad. And then I was like, oh, dude, this is going to be awesome. And then, like, didn't do it, thank God. But, like, 5 years later, I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? That would have been awful.
And you'd still have it.
But, like, that, it's funny how quotes and, like, literature in itself, like, and songs, like, it can mean one thing to you, like, at one point in your life, and then next it means absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. It's hilarious. It's just, I guess, the way the fucking brain works. But
yeah,
that's what actually inspired me for that first book I wrote, was seeing people post absolutely garbage quotes on Instagram. That shit is so funny to me.
Dude.
Garbage quotes.
Motivational Monday.
You have good quotes, though.
Team no days off.
You got some good ones, though. You pick them good.
But, like, I don't know.
Like the relationship ones, man? Yuck.
Well,
I don't know, man. Like, social media is like, honestly, I think you should have to pass a test to go on there.
To vote and post on social media.
It's like, think about if anybody is going to care about this post before you post it. Or like, go talk to somebody. Like,
go talk to a real person.
Everybody has the ability to just throw it out there now. Everybody's got a voice, and that's a great thing. And it's also like...
Dude, it makes for some great comedy.
It does, yeah.
It really does.
But it's cool that you can literally reach people all around the world with whatever you do. Someone's not going to like it, and someone's going to love it.
Dude, that's just the way it is. I mean, my sister hates my writing. I still love her.
Love her to death. Love her to death.
Dude, I actually just love sitting here and talking. This is great.
It's a good office, right?
Dude, the office is phenomenal.
Pumped about it.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking at this sign right here, feeling versus function.
Yeah.
Dude, when I write, it's hard to, like, you have to somehow write your feelings in a way that, like, serves a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, feeling and function in one sentence. That's the hardest part.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, some of the people I adjust, they won't feel anything for, like, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I'm like, hang in there. It's going to click, and it eventually does. But, like, you and a couple other people, including myself, when I get adjusted, it's immediate. And my world just opens up. Like, if I'm out of alignment, I can't write. It's almost like the flow just gets cut off, and I'm
flow state.
Yeah, flow state.
Yeah, it's just not even existent. Every time I come here, I forget that I need it.
Yeah.
I forget. I go about my life for a month and think I'm fine. And then I come here and I go and write again. Like tomorrow morning, I'll be like, holy shit, what was I doing?
Well, dude, yeah, I honestly think this entire world would be a different place if people's atlases were an adjustment.
100%. And look, I'm not here to be like getting adjusted cures cancer. Maybe it could. But
it doesn't.
What I would say is that the whole point of medicine is to make you feel better. Mm-hmm. That's it, right? Yeah. Just to make you feel better, not be in pain, whatever it is. And that's exactly what this does for me. I feel better.
Absolutely. And the whole thing with this is it's inside out, not outside in. So like your body has the complete ability to heal itself. All we're doing is removing the interference so you can function as your best self. So like it's something that no pill, no other thing can really give you until you actually experience it and you get connected again. Really. Yeah.
The crazy part to me is the health system, like right now. Like, it's so just give pills for
everything.
For everything.
It's like
there's a pill for everything. There's a pill for when you feel depressed about the first pill that you're on.
Oh, absolutely. There's side effects that people need to get put on.
Other drugs because of the side effects of the first drug.
Some pills will give you stomach pain or headaches, and then they add on another one.
And then that one gives you another one.
So people are on 10 different medications before they know it, and our bodies were just not made to function like that.
Absolutely not. That's why this shit is the truth.
The truth. Thanks for coming on.
Dude.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Let's do it again.
This was the first in-house episode.
Yes. Hopefully no one will ever see this recording.
Never.
Jesus Christ.
Don't click play. No one's getting the video.
The shine.
No one's getting the shine. I mean, I look good. But
dude, you look good.
You look good. Thanks for coming on, guy.
And dumb enough to click on this. I'm sorry for anything I said.
All right, pal. Well, love you. And
all right, kid.
Talk to you soon.
Later.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. My private practice is located in New Jersey at Montclair Upper Cervical Chiropractic. If you have any additional questions about today's podcast, other episodes, or any questions about Blair Upper Cervical Chiropractic in general, feel free to visit my website at drkevinpecca.com or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Dr. Kevin Pecca. Hope you enjoyed the show. Cheers.